Question? Anybody? What's happening?
We need an aircon quickly.
Sorry?
We need an air conditioning quickly, sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries.
All good.
Hope everybody's okay. Question? Hi, yes, again.
Are you enjoying recording free?
Did I tell you I love you before? Now I really love you. I am having so much fun with Free. Do you guys know about Free?
Yes.
Okay, did you know that the same voice actor in Japan who voiced Rin, the character in Free that I'm playing, also voiced Tamaki in Oran High School, also voiced Zero in Vampire Night? I have to meet this guy. His name is Mamoru Mayano, and I have to meet him. Somewhere on the planet, at some point, I have to meet this guy because he and I have now played 3 characters, the same 3 characters. And he sings too. And I've actually done an English version of some of the songs that he covered. So if we ever were to do a convention together, would it be fun for him to sing a line in Japanese and then I were to sing the next line in English and we could go back and forth and like do a duet? Oh my gosh, that would be fun. I'm really loving Free. And I've heard that we might be dubbing season 1 as well. Is there really? Oh, I didn't know that. There's a Free movie coming out. Well, it's not free. You have to pay to see it, but it's called Free. You had a question, didn't you? Did you have a question? Here, let me give the microphone so everybody can hear your question.
Hi. Speaking of meeting Japanese voices, how was it like meeting Ed's Japanese voice actress?
You knew about that? I love you. I love her too. But oh my gosh, I had so much fun. The woman who voiced Edward Elric, her name is Romy Park Pakusan. Yes? I got the chance to go to Tokyo. And most people when they go to Tokyo, they want to see certain things, right? You can go to Mount Fuji, see the temples, like there's certain attractions that you will go see. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to meet Romy. So I called Aniplex and they arranged, no, it was Square Enix. Square Enix arranged for me to have dinner with Romy. And not only Romy, but the director from Full Metal Alchemist, Seiji Mizushima. So one evening, I took a taxi to Harajuku? No, Roppongi, I think. Yeah, I think that's their nightclub area in Tokyo. It's called Roppongi. And we met, we had the best time. It was like we knew each other, even though we'd never met. You know, we had this connection through this character that was so deep. We sat across the table from each other and just talked. And we had translators, because she couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Japanese, but I would say something so excited and wait for the translator to say it, and then she would go, oh, and then she would answer, and I'm looking right in her eyes while her translator is telling me what she just said. I gave her a cowboy hat. She likes cowboy hats. And I gave her a cowboy hat, and we took pictures, and we talked about how one day we're going to do a convention appearance together. And I have the perfect title for that event. You ready? 2 Eds are better than 1. Is that perfect? I like it. Anyway, she was wonderful, and it was such a privilege to meet her. I've only had the chance to meet a couple of voice actors that I've, you know what I mean, that I've played the similar character. How many of you know a show called Bleach? I played a character named Ikaku, the bald Soul Reaper, and I met his voice actor at a couple of conventions, but no others. Mamoru, he's on my list. I have to meet Mamoru. Question? Yes, sir.
As you progress with a character, do the creators give you input with the script, or is it just the side of the coin? Great question.
Different anime series are different in that sometimes they'll give you a great deal of latitude in how you play the character, but then sometimes they're very particular about what they want you to do, especially with bigger shows. Like, it may interest you to know that with shows like Full Metal Alchemist, or Naruto, or Bleach, or Sailor Moon, or Pokemon, the casting decisions are made by the creators in Japan. The English companies don't even make those decisions because the Japanese creators very much want to keep control about how that character is portrayed in English. As I said, a girl played Romy played Ed in Japanese. But when it came time to do Full Metal Alchemist in English, the company that owned Full Metal Alchemist wanted Ed in English to be a little more masculine. So they made a conscious decision, we're not going to cast a girl to play a young boy, we're going to cast a guy. And so my good fortune, I was lucky that they did that. But there are a lot of other shows where they basically give the English company that buys the license freedom to do whatever they want to do. I've been a part of several shows where they just basically said, have at it, do whatever you want. Change the script, you know, make it whatever will make it popular. Because there are a lot of anime shows that are very cultural. You know what I mean? They are created to appeal to a specific culture. And if you were to dub them directly into English, they wouldn't make much sense. Or they wouldn't be anywhere near as entertaining. So in those kind of situations, they will allow the English company that's dubbing it to change it and make it more entertaining for the audience, the English audience. Yes?
Sir, when you said like some animes are like cultural, is
Yes.
Death Note an example of a cultural anime?
Possibly. What do you think? Did you like Death Note?
Yeah, I love it.
I love Death Note. I wanted to be in Death Note so bad. I wanted to play a role in Death Note, but you may or may not know that Death Note was actually recorded in Canada. It was recorded by a studio in Canada, which means that you won't find any English or any American voice actors on any of those shows that are dubbed in Canada. Inuyasha was a show that was done in Canada. Yeah, well, originally DBZ, before Funimation took it over. But Gundam, Death Note, were some shows that were dubbed in Canada. But yeah, Death Note has some examples. I remember in Oran High School, there were several episodes where they talked about cultural festivals and holidays and things that the whole episode was built around. Well, it wouldn't make any sense to an American audience or to an English-speaking audience. So we would have to find an English equivalent when we dub the episode. It's a great question. Thank you. Yes. Give this girl a microphone.
Hi.
Hi.
My
What's your
question
name?
is Hanan.
Hello, Hannah.
Hanan. It's a double.
Oh, that's even more beautiful.
Oh,
I was going to say I have a friend named Hannah, but
It's the same.
And
It's
how-
just one letter missing.
Hanan?
Hanan.
Oh, that's lovely. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What is your question?
Yeah, has been there a time where the scene was too intense, either funny or sad, you had to stop the recording? And what show was it?
What an awesome question. Okay, you ready? Hanan? I was recording Full Metal Alchemist. How many of you remember there was an episode with this character named Barry the Chopper? You remember that? And he was this crazy psycho guy, and he captured Ed, and he literally ripped his automail arm off, and he was holding him captive in like this meat, like a butcher meat. What would you call it? I don't even know. But Ed got free, and he was running around, and Barry the Chopper was chasing him around with like a machete or something. And Ed was terrified. He's a 14-year-old kid. And this guy's chasing him around with a machete, trying to kill him. When the episode ended, they caught Barry the Chopper. Alphonse, Ed's brother, shows up and saves him. This is probably like episode 6, 7, 8 of the original series. I was recording the final scene from that episode where Ed and Al are sitting on these steps, and Barry the Chopper has been handcuffed, and they're taking him away, and Ed is sitting on the steps with Al, and Ed has this monologue where he talks about he thought he was going to die. He really believed that he was going to be killed, and he lost all hope of ever being rescued. And then his brother showed up and saved him. I was recording those lines, and I started crying. I was so moved. I'd never been moved by a show. I'd probably done 30 or 40 anime series before Full Metal, and nothing ever grabbed my emotions the way that did. And the director said to me, "Would you like to take a minute?" And I said, "Are you kidding? No! Let's record now while it's, you know what I mean? While it's real and emotional. Let's capture the authenticity of the moment." So I cherished the opportunity to record those scenes when I was really emotionally moved by them myself. And there were a lot of those scenes, in Full Metal in particular, like that. Some people like to take a break, but I love it. I love capturing the real, visceral, spontaneous reaction, you know? I love that. Yes?
Just looking up, sorry, continue, because I realized you're working with James Doohan's son.
Yes!
Playing Scotty.
Amazing, right?
I don't know if you can talk about how you got him on.
Yeah. Who in here is enough of a Star Trek fan to tell me who played Scotty in the original series of Star Trek? James Doohan was his name. His son, Chris Doohan, is playing Scotty in my series. How cool is that? He's playing his father's role. Isn't that neat? And Chris was very emotionally moved when he walked onto the bridge for the first time in uniform, and he looked at me and he said, "I just realized this is what my dad did all those years ago." And it's a pleasure and an honor to have him involved. You guys check it out, www.StarTrekContinues.com. We've completely rebuilt the entire soundstage from the original series. And the episodes, like I said, I cannot stress enough, the episodes look and feel and sound more like the original series than anything that's been done. The lighting, the stories. That's what I loved the most about the original series of Star Trek, were the stories. They had such depth, and they addressed ethical questions and moral questions and social issues. They weren't just about firing phasers and beaming down, you know what I mean? They weren't about that. That's why they're still relevant today, because they had such a deeper meaning to the stories. And those are the kind of stories that we're telling. As I said, we have 3 episodes online. Look it up online, check it out, tell your friends, like us on Facebook. It's a fan series. I mean, we're not making any money from it at all. It is pure love of Star Trek. And I gotta tell you guys, being here with Bill Shatner, I mean, it's a childhood dream for me come true. Because I was inspired by the original series. I was inspired by Mr. Shatner. So Star Trek Continues, in many, many ways, is a tribute to him. It is to honor him and Leonard Nimoy and Jimmy Doohan and Nichelle Nichols and Walter Koenig and George Takei and all of the people that made that series. Gene Roddenberry created Star Trek. His son, Rod Roddenberry, is a dear friend of mine, And he even recorded a video where he basically said, if my father were alive today, he would consider Star Trek Continues canon. I think he would find that he would feel that the episodes are as good, on par with the original series, and in some cases even better. I mean, you don't get a better endorsement than that. Am I out of time already? Oh, good, good.